I've got a VIP guest on right now. Let me tell you, I mean, a lot of books come across my desk in all the years, and I picked up Spudd, the Mark Carroll Story, which has been put out with the help of Adam Hawes, who's just a gun journalist, forward by Russell Crowe, and I have not been able to put it down. It is, I love the fact that the way it's laid out, right down to the grounds I hated playing at, the best nigglers, all of those things. The story of a kid from the western suburbs who went on to play first grade, to win a premiership, to play for his state, to play for his country, then somehow get mixed up in the movie world with none other than Russell Crowe. He's one of the great characters of Australian sport and rugby league. Spudd, Mark Carroll, on the line right now. G'day, Spudd.
Oh, good morning, Andrew. Man, what an entry! I've never had an invitation like this, and also to speak so highly of me, mate. But I'm absolutely stoked you love the book.
Oh.
I've always wanted to do a book.
Yeah.
And under the guidance of, as you said, Adam Hawes, it just comes out so well. I remember sitting in the car, when COVID hit us, you sit in the car and I'd have a schooner or two he's new next to me and I'd just talk for an hour. He'd record it. Next thing he typed it out. Andrew, next thing he sent it to me. And I used to send it to my mates going, have a look at this. And they're going, Spud, this sounds like you. And it's come together so well.
That's right. When you read it, I'm hearing your voice in my head going through some of the stories. And as I said, I mean, I love a book. I'm particularly fond of a book that when I've put out a book before, I was given advice, you just write. And chapters don't have to go a certain length. If something's worth 800 words, well, that's what it goes. If a story needs 3,000 words or 5,000 words in the telling, that's how long it goes. So you've got short and long chapters covering all events of your life. I will quote to our listeners now, one of the early chapters, though, is under the heading, Not Smart Enough for Soccer. Do you want to explain that, Spud? Not smart enough for soccer.
Yeah, well, as a youngster, I used to love all sports, and Mum and Dad, they put me in soccer, but they sort of just run around in circles. And I used to dig holes with my boots, and my mum said to my dad, I don't think he's smart enough for soccer. We'll put him in the rugby league. That was the start of my rugby league birth. My first club was down at the Guildford Owls, the great club that Brett Kenny played for. Still got the highest goal post in the Southern Hemisphere. I think they're up there. I think you'll have a stat there, Andrew.
Yes, thank you.
Mate, it's just one of those things. It's just a great story. Regards, and a couple of things that really get me was that I actually rang the chief up and to see if he could do his own chapter, which is fantastic. There's not many people can go to someone and ask your nemesis to write something about you. So I was just intrigued to see what he'd say. But I had the great Bob Fulton. I had him do a chapter 2 months before his passing. Mate, I didn't realise he was that crook, and he just gives it to me. Russell Crowe. Many years I've worked with him. I asked him to do the forward. If you read that forward, when I first read it, I'm thinking, what is this bloke going on about? But it reads fantastic, and it just comes together so well, mate. The support from my family, just little stories about the arm wrestling story when I won an arm wrestling championship at Parramatta, and this guy Scott Norton made the front page of the Rugby League Week, and they all thought it was Parramatta had signed new signings. It was an April Fool's joke. So. Unbelievable.
Oh, look, as I said, I'll jump all over the place, and I can't do you justice. I really would need to have you on for 2 hours to go life story, start to finish up to this point, and you're not finished by any stretch. But I want to just get the attention of listeners, and now I'll go to the other end of the book, and you talk about all those different topics as if it's almost Mark Carroll Fast Money, answering questions of best niggler and best roomie and those things. Now, grounds you hated. I'm going to get the attention of Cronulla fans here. Shark Park?
Oh, Shark Park, I don't think I'd won a game there. Mate, what about when the Sutherland used to come up? It'd just be a killer. But the other grounds that used to annoy me were down in Canberra back in the days. And I often say it when I'm doing commentary that these young blokes, the players these days, never wear metal studs. And back then, you had to go down there, you had to wear the 18, maybe 21 mil studs, and you still couldn't get any grip. The grass down there was like an ice skating rink, and especially when you're up against the Canberra Raiders in the 90s, mate, like it was 30-0 at half time.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what it was like? But that's a couple of grounds which I dislike. I love Brookvale. I love the Sydney Football Stadium. It's still one of my favourite grounds. And hopefully, when they do build something as good as it's going to be close to that, because full capacity is no better ground.
Not many books probably in Life Stories address topics like biggest smart ass I've ever known, but there's even a topic that, okay, now reveal. Here it is, an exclusive for Breakfast with Vossy. For those who haven't picked up the book, who is the biggest smart ass Spudd Carroll has ever come across?
Well, the biggest smart ass that I come across was a good mate of mine. I played football against him You played for St Mary's, I played for St Pat's at Blacktown. We were both 5'8". You can't imagine two blokes 6'4". We had the same haircut. We had the mullets. It was myself and Mark Geyer. MG was the biggest smartass I've ever come across. He still is. There's one particular story that we worked in a banana section at the market. So we thought this was the coolest job. And after 3 hours, he's had enough. I've gone up to the boss and said, mate, me and me mate, and I've turned over and he's taken off. And he's more faced at this bloke. So, mate, you know your antics with MG's. He's just a comical character.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a story about him. When I was fortunate enough to go on the kangaroo tour with him as a you just dream about sort of doing things together with mates, and I'm so proud to say I did that.
Okay, now here's a big one for you, and of course, one of the most replayed moments in rugby league modern era is the 1997 grand final for Darren Albert, and there's a flash of Mark Carroll there. He just can't get across. Yeah. Desperate Manly players can't stop Albert scoring. If you could relive one day of your rugby league career to change things, would that be it?
Yeah.
That moment?
Oh, yeah. I'd say it would. Thanks for bringing it up, Andrew. I think
well, it's covered in the book.
I think he wears a size 9.5 or something. But it's just one of those crazy things. The game just proves you in rugby league the game goes for 80 minutes, not 79-45. It's just incredible how that game. But I look back in my life as a rugby league player. I've made history in quite a few things. Some guys never played in a grand final. Some of the greatest never won a grand final. I was lucky enough I played in 3, and I won one. I've got stories of myself and the Chief. People still talk about that. That was 26 years ago, that collision we had with myself and the Chief. It's ridiculous. I can walk through the streets of where I'm working at Spudd's, and people go, "Oh, Spudd, I love that hit on the Chief." And I'm thinking, mate, it was 26 years ago. Move on, but it put a smile on someone's face. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, well, as I say, and while you may think, primarily rugby league book, but I love the story. The first time you ever met Russell Crowe is it was July 1999, if my memory serves me correctly from reading it. But to have that component in this story, as you say, about a kid who played for the Guildford Owls, suddenly he's on a movie set with Russell Crowe, Ron Howard, giving him lip. I mean, how the hell did you get there? You've got to be proud of everything you've achieved in your life, but it has opened some doors for you.
Yeah, it certainly has, and I thank Russell for that. His vision's been unbelievable, but he's seen something in me. I remember the first time he asked me to go down and meet Andrew Dundee when he was doing the Cinderella Man movie. I'm thinking, Andrew Dundee, how good's this? So I went down there and met Andrew, and he met him, Andrew, and then next thing Russ said, I want you to come on the movie. You could see what I did with the fighters. We had 3 ex-Olympian fighters who were the characters in Cinderella Man. And anyway, next thing I'm on set. I'm talking to Ron Howard, and how we met Ron Howard, he couldn't believe how far I could pass a spiral ball, as in just a passing. Maybe I can throw 30 metres, but when I got to Manly, I wasn't allowed to pass. So I always had this up my sleeve. And I said, come over, I'll show you a video. And I showed him the video of myself and the Chief having that massive collision. And he looked at me, and he turned around, and he goes, "You're not wearing any pads." I said, "No, I'm wearing a mouth guard." And that was the opening of it. And then next thing, mate, I was on set with him. I'd sit next to him. We'd talk about sport. Russell's opened up a lot of doors for myself. It was his vision for Spudd's Gym, mate. I'm actually training it's my first ever client, 16 years ago, Kathy Duncan. She came into my world, and
there we go.
And Claire, another one, mate. They're still coming to Spudd's Gym. It's been going 16 years, but without the vision of Russell, after Cinderella Man, he said, "I think you should turn yourself into a gym." And I said, "What do you want to call it?" And I said, "I wanted Braddock's because I love James Braddock." He goes, "No, it's got to be called Spudd's." And mate, Voss, he wrote this. He drew the font of Spudd's, and it's ever been the same for 16 years.
So. No,
unbelievable, mate.
It's a great story. Be so proud of everything you achieved, and be really proud of the finished product. You and Adam Hawes have put together such a readable book. So easy to read and entertaining read. Love you as a player, love you as a character, Spudd, and thanks for coming on the program today. And I encourage our listeners, buy the book, Spudd, the Mark Carroll Story.
Yeah, mate, I appreciate it. It's out on the 17th of August. All good bookstores, but also it's out pre-order with penguin.com. But, mate, thanks very much. And, I've always appreciated what you helped me with, mate. You critique the way I call things, and I appreciate it, mate. Thank you.